What's your line of work, sir?
Me? I shoot best. Pigs, donkeys, camels, tourists.
Thanks for taking the time to chat today, and congratulations on the series. So, John, a character that you've been playing for over a decade now, with the last film, did you think that you were closing the chapter on this, or was it bound to come back?
It's always open. I don't live for it or anything. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And Greg's always sniffing around, trying to find another way forward. I kind of likes the franchise, and it's not every day you come up with an iconic character, I suppose, and this is mine in my career. So, no, I don't say no to it. No.
And having come back to the character a couple of times, are you still learning things about Mick, or...?
No, I learned just about everything I needed to learn about Mick in the first one. And I worked really hard and researched and did the backstory, and I knew what I was doing. And Mick's not the kind of guy who changes and betters himself. He just is Mick. So there's not a lot of growth going on, So it's just Mick every time, so...
Yeah, that's true. Character arc, he kind of starts the same and he ends the same.
How do you feel, Mick?
Yeah.
Feel like a twoies, actually.
Yeah. And so the first film is kind of out-and-out horror, and then the second film had much more of a comedic tone. Do you think that this then changes tonally again for the series?
Well, I often get asked that, but I think both of the movies are funny. It's just that you think that's... Oh, I do.
No, they are, and that's why they're so scary.
There's lots of laughs in the first one, Tell ya, when I went to kill ya, and buff the capital of Australia, and all of that stuff. And there's people laugh a lot about some of the phrases in the first one. It's just the monster doesn't come out of the cage until halfway through, but the monster's out of the cage, so you get Mick from go to woe. So there's more chance to play in Wolf Creek too. I mean, just about every scene. But with this one, I start out in a big way and give all my horror fans everything they want, and then we kind of hand it over to the amazing Lucy Fry, who goes on a vengeful rampage trying to find the bastard that did over her family.
We were kind of saying that it's a bit... Eve's world is very much psychological thriller, and her perspective is kind of, it's like Mick's always around her and she's trying to deal with it and trying to find him. And Mick's world is quite dark horror, but with that dark humour. And they're kind of circling each other through the series, and you'll have moments of seeing Mick's world and then moments of Eve's world. And they're kind of... So you get both. And that's what kind of helps it travel for the 6 episodes.
So there's people here. They're all gone missing. Bodies never found, mostly tourists. Same killer.
This country's too big, okay? You're not gonna find him.
You have to go where he goes.
She had a banner on it about some fellow in a blue truck.
You're seeing a demon.
Hey, I'm looking for a friend of mine, American Sheila. Blonde hair, not bad looking.
What are you going to do with him when you find her?
Good question.
So, John, you've been vocal in the past about piracy in Australia, and do you think that things like Stan and video streaming on demand services are helping combat that problem?
They definitely are. The figures prove that they are. And I was talking to my son Charlie this morning, actually, about the fact that it's probably easier to turn on Stan or Netflix or whatever and find the movie you want for a lousy $10 a month than to go trying to illegally download it. So I think finally we might have a panacea to this full-on theft of like billions of dollars. The only industry in the world you can steal billions of dollars from. So hopefully it's going to be on the wane. But it'll never totally be gone, I don't think, because somehow we let them get away with it. If you could download a boarding pass on any aeroplane and go anywhere in the world, they seem to put a bloody stop to it. But you can download a DVD anytime you like, and that's just criminal.
And in terms of Australian stories being told, how do you both feel about the fact that, Stan has actually commissioned an Australian series rather than just playing ones that already exist? And what do you think that maybe says about the future of television?
It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. Stan is getting behind original content and being very proud about it and very vocal about being an Australian company, supporting Australian stuff, and that's what they're here to do. And so if the Australian public backs them as they're backing us, it'll be a wonderful thing. And it's working, and they know how to sell things too. I mean, they're selling this so brilliantly. I said to them, if I ever get a movie up and I get a distributor, can I ask the distributor to use you guys to market it? Because they're fantastic. They're just such a breath of fresh air. Thank God they've turned up.
Yeah, and it was really exciting that the scripts are so good and they really invested in making it top quality. And so each episode is like a feature film, and it was so exciting to get to come back to Australia and work on something that's that good. And all the actors are so good, and the DOP was amazing, Jeff Hall. He just, every scene he would find an interesting way to shoot it, and it just looks beautiful out in these amazing locations. And I just would love for there to be more Australian content like that.
And they understand that you've got to spend the money to make it. I mean, I talked to Fred Skepsey, a wonderful Australian director, and he's had a couple of projects where they've given him money, and he said, but it's not enough. It's not enough to make the movie. But these guys realise that you've got to spend money to make money. You've got to make product that's going to stand up. And this TV series, world class, absolutely raises the bar on Australian television.
There's been a rise of 6-episode series as opposed to like the longer kind of 22, 24 episode series. I was wondering, from an acting perspective, is there something nice about those 6-episode series in terms of the amount of time that you dedicate to it in comparison to film or the longer series?
I've really enjoyed the 6-ep series because it's short enough that you can put a lot of attention to detail into each episode and really make it top quality and focus on the character arc, as opposed to a film where it is very condensed and very short and almost poetic in how fast you have to get the story out. And the 22 episodes where it's sort of a long, drawn-out process. And so I think that 6 episodes sits in a really nice place in the middle, where you get really good character development, but you also get a lot of detail and a fast-moving story, and really, really beautiful attention to the work.
It's going back to the miniseries, basically, which was, for me, a very rich period in Australian entertainment business from the mid-70s till probably late 80s. I was involved in a lot of miniseries which have a similar sort of strength to them. And as Lucy said, when they get into 20 and 30 eps, it can get a little bit cheap and drawn out and boring.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and congratulations again.
Yeah,
thank
you
you
so much.
Be strong. 10 times tougher than they are and 100 times tougher than you feel.
Who are you really looking for out here? We got plenty demons out here. What you gonna do about yours?